right, folks. So I find this one particularly interesting because in the world of sports, sponsorship is often the lifeline for athletes and organizations. Today we are joined by Sophia Harris, the Chief Executive Officer of Lau Global Consulting, the company behind an AI-powered sponsorship value calculator that helps sporting entities show potential sponsors what's in it for them. Good morning. Welcome to Smile. How are you?
Good morning, Neville. So good to see you.
It's amazing to see you. Is the suggestion that, let's use me as a sports person, that we really don't know how to go to sponsors and say, well, I have a track meet coming up and I want sponsorship. Is that the suggestion here, that we're not too certain what we're doing and how we should be doing it?
So I would say that in the Caribbean and in some places in North America, what we tend to do is either undervalue or overvalue, using our gut instincts or our budget to place a value on sponsorship. So what we're trying to do is align those people who are, or entities that are behind, bridge the digital divide and help them to be more data-centric and use data as a foundation for valuing sponsorships, which is global best practices.
Yep. So I don't have a budget and I have a track meet and I just call you and say, give me about $10 million now, and I don't tell you why I need it, what I'm going to do with it. That's the plan.
That is how it tends to be, and it was, even in my tenure in sports, it used to be based on a budget or just a gut feeling. But what we're trying to do is get people to focus more on what sponsors are looking for, especially sponsors who are publicly traded and have to justify their spend to their board or their shareholders.
AI?
Yes, artificial intelligence, that's where the world is trending.
So tell me about that. How does that work?
All right, so there are several ways that we could have approached this. And the reason we did this is because people were approaching us, ever since I left the JFF, people have been approaching me and my team for assistance with seeking sponsorships because I had a good track record there. And so what we found, that even though we do a lot of pro bono work, there were times where they didn't have the budget to engage a consultant. And up until a few weeks ago, I was still being approached. Please help us, we need to get some sponsorships. But they don't know where to start. They don't have the data. They don't have what sponsors are looking for to justify the spend. So what we decided to do, we work in a lot of digital businesses. We build digital businesses at Lau Global Consulting. And so we were working on some frameworks and AI-enabled products and services for some of our clients. And I said, what can I do to give back to sports after sports gave me so much during my tenure there? And I absolutely love sports. I said, how can I teach a fisherman to fish, so to speak? Instead of having them be constantly looking for help, how can I help them to help themselves and pay it forward some of the knowledge that I have garnered over the years working in digital space? I said, okay, how about a calculator that can help them to get into the culture and mindset of mining data? Because the world wants data justification now. It's no longer about your budgets, about what you need to spend. It's about what's the value for the sponsor. So artificial intelligence is machine learning or using automation to do calculations and to assist people. It's the great equalizer, right? So what we did was we said, okay, what would be valuable to a sponsor? Maybe a spreadsheet to show the return on investment and help them to calculate the value of the sponsorship. And also people who are seeking sponsorship, help them to say, this is our value proposition, this is what you get out of it, and this is how we have calculated it. This is how we justify our value. So what we did was use several, not one, but several artificial intelligence models and created a formula that would help you calculate. It's a little complex, but we have simplified it in the form of a spreadsheet that is AI-enabled. And we've also included an AI chatbot so that if you don't know what, for example, CPM means or CPL or ROI, you can type in, what does that mean? And it will give you a response. If you want to know, okay, I'm going to approach Red Stripe or a beverage sponsor, what is the average that they're willing to pay for a lead? And that's one of the data components and analytics that we require on the sheet in order to calculate.
Let me play devil's advocate, and let's go back to my track meet that I'm having.
Yes.
Would I not know how much the stadium going to cost me? Would I not know how much I have to pay the athlete if them win? Would I not know how much I have to pay for security? Would I not know how much I have to pay for beverages and stuff like that? Why would I need AI to tell me all of that?
That has nothing to do with the calculator. That's what you need to spend. The calculator tells you what you have to offer the sponsor. So For example, the sponsor wants to know what's in it for me. What is the exposure I'm going to get? So the calculator asks you to input data such as audience. Not just the audience at the arena, but online eyeballs.
So we have 4,000 at the stadium, and we have 25,000 people watching online.
Absolutely. Okay. So you combine that in online and offline data. You plug that in. We know standardly maybe 10 to 30% based on the industry. If you're in sports or if you're an influencer, that will lead to engagements. And then of that, maybe 1% or less than that would lead to a lead. No, the sponsor wants to know how many potential clients are there for me from this investment. That's my ROI. Which
would suggest that it's not just about sports then? It could be about a business also.
Absolutely. I mean, we are a business consulting firm. So the reason I started with sports is because of the need that was so pervasive. But it is across all content creators, even media houses, right? So anyone that has content to sell, wants to get investment or sponsorship for, this is a tool that will be valuable. You can not only print it with the calculations and give to a sponsor, you can send them the sheet and say, change the figures if you like. Play with it.
Let's be specific. Go back to my meat. What I put in.
All right. So what you need to do is put in your audience figures. So if you've had a meet last year, for example, you put in how many people attended. If you streamed it online, what were the analytics? So you can download it on YouTube, plug in those figures. The AI has given us industry. So if you're going to a beer company or a beverage company would tell you, based on that industry and the sporting industry for track and field, this is the approximate percentage of the people who attended who would be engaging with the brand. And it will give you a number. Then it will say, based on best practices and research the models, the AI models have done, these are the amount of leads you may get from this event, and then it multiplies it by the value that the sponsor is willing to pay now. That they have to now input a number. I'm willing to pay $5 US per one lead. So this event is going to give me 225 leads, 225 multiplied by the value they're willing to pay, and then there are other factors. There's a weight attached. So it's a very complex formula. AI has attached a weight given to audience and a weight given to engagement.
Have you used this before, locally?
No, well, we're just launching it. Yeah. But I've played with it. And I've played it and I'm like, wow, if I had this back in the day, right? I mean, it would be easier to communicate with sponsors and get funding because I've given them now valuation that is justifiable.
How is your company found?
Pardon me?
How is your company found?
Okay, so you can visit us on lauglobalconsulting.com.
LAU?
lauglobalconsulting.com. Visit our services page. It'll tell you about the calculator and how to access it. You send us an email. We tell you what data to come to us with, and we'll have you get your free consultation with us so we can customize the sheet with you and teach you how to use it and give you tips about how you can prepare a sponsorship proposal that wins.
Good to see you.
So good to see you.
Very, very well explained. Yeah, you are a good interviewee.
Am I really?
Yeah, because it is. Sophia Harris, she's Chief Executive Officer of Lowe Global Consulting. After the break, we speak with King Isam and the Black Diamonds. Soon come. Guys, we've been hearing them all morning.